The push to get your second stimulus package approved comes down to a 24-hour window legislatively. The deal for Congress to get you a second stimulus check and stimulus package is down to ostensibly a 24-hour deal window. So will a deal be hatched tomorrow by Congress? Oh, LALATE has uncovered two shocking details, which I'll be going over in this video, and your head's about to turn. Moreover, new pressing pushes to get it done by executive order, because the push to get an executive order second stimulus check doesn't end tomorrow, doesn't end the day after, and doesn't end until it gets done. This is Evenings LALATE. Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm here, you're here. Thank you for joining me on a beautiful evening. It started supposed to be a very hot day here in Los Angeles for 3 days, but the weather broke, and so far it is still sort of good, as most of Americans await the presidential debate. By the time that this video is uploaded, the presidential debate will have started or ostensibly ended. But it's here on the West Coast, and it's about 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The presidential debate has not started. And tomorrow, Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi will talk about your second stimulus package and try to hatch an 11th hour final deal. Will it happen? In this video, I go over shocking details about whether the plan will unfold and two elements that I have personally uncovered that might suggest an interesting twist. Stay tuned for that coming up in this video. Also, the push to get it done by executive order is still underway. And finally, the efforts of this channel with the Purple Power, with the Problem Solvers, with the Blue Dogs is rewarded. That's coming up as well in this video as always. If you've not, go to the front of this channel, subscribe. We're approaching 280,000 subscribers. And I really do appreciate the wonderfully kind comments that you have dropped in the last 24 hours. People personally saying nice things about me individually, even more so, which is really quite wonderful. I do inherently care, and sometimes I'm sort of bothered when my emotions do come out on camera, as they did last night on this broadcast. As you can see, I have a wider grin tonight. It's important for me to keep us all on pace and on focus. And when you'll see the comments that I'll be going over in tonight's recording, you will see that some of the viewers were ostensibly quite upset as well last night. But it's a different night, and so here we go. So if you've not subscribed, go to the front of the channel, subscribe. Also like this video. It's a day in which the algorithm's acting really screwy. We're doing very, very well in traffic, but this algorithm is just crazy with old videos from 5 years ago ranking #1 and everything else. All right, let's get to the incredible breaking news as we sit here tonight. As we sit here tonight, there's two details that have been uncovered on Evenings LALATE that would suggest a major twist, even beyond what happened on Afternoons LALATE. Let me explain to you the arch of what has happened in just a few 8 hours. On Mornings LALATE, I told you that ostensibly we would be focused on executive orders going forward because we thought that basically the path to legislative is no longer possible, but that we kept that we were still keeping our focus on the problem solvers. We were still keeping our focus on the Blue Dogs and the new Democrat coalition in hope that they would get the problem solvers bill to the finish line. Of course, the October 1st deadline is still there, as though no one has forgotten about it. That was Mornings LALATE, recorded about 6 o'clock on the West Coast in the morning. Well, by Afternoons LALATE, everything had changed. And sort of this entire, I was going to use the word heavens opened up. I don't think that's the right expression to describe these people, but something had opened up, and, maybe it's IHOP. It's just, Waffle House, they're waffling all over the place. Well, something opened up, and, Waffle House never closes. That's not a good analogy, but, something opened up and something changed, and it changed very quickly. This is what had happened. Last night, I detailed on this broadcast that there was a report out after an interview with Nancy Pelosi's chief of staff that says, hey, she's going to introduce the bill tonight, and she did last night, and that it's going to go to a vote today, which it didn't, and that everyone's going to go home from Congress tomorrow. I just lost it. And then I read the bill, and then I saw the bill, and it was a lot of bailout of big big government, a lot of money for salaries, increased salaries. Everyone's getting a raise. We weren't getting crap, and it was just like, what is this? And you saw how I got angry. Well, that was last night. By afternoon today, everything changed quickly. And what we had learned was that Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin had a series of interviews, a series of discussions last night and this morning, and that continued throughout the morning, and that they were very positive, according to them, very constructive, and that they thought that the deal was going to be hatched. Moreover, after the negotiations continued in the morning, Pelosi went back to her team in the House, this is by her description, and then went over revisions, spoke to them, and had further briefing, as Mnuchin did the same with his team, going to Meadows, who's not part of the negotiations, which certainly makes Pelosi happy, and then went to the president and consulted with the president multiple times throughout the day. This is incredibly great news. So a lot of major twists and turns. They also agreed that they were going to continue to negotiate tomorrow, Wednesday morning, all saying that they think they can still get it done. Well, I've identified tonight, that was afternoon to LALATE, now I've identified for evening to LALATE, three major factors that may suggest one way or the other. The first two factors suggest that this will be done, that a deal will come. The first one is this availability of funds. There's billions of dollars that has been sitting around from CARES Act 1 that needs to be repurposed, and I've detailed that on the channel, that has to be repurposed, and that could be repurposed for the same programs that are identified in the package, the bill from last night, so that the bill does not reach $2.2 trillion, that the bill actually would be reduced at a 1.8 or 1.7 price tag because there's so much money sitting out there that could be dedicated to those programs. That could be incredibly great news and an indication that the deal could be hatched. Here's a second facet, and I always go with something that's like, that seems sort of obvious. Here's a strange facet. Guess what Steve Mnuchin's doing tomorrow? Going to IHOP? No. Going to Waffle House? No. Going to the Calzino? No. He is going to CNBC headquarters, or at least digitally, it's not very clear from the press release, to be the headliner in a massive 10th anniversary conference called Delivering Alpha to talk about the economy, with all leading financial gurus across the country and people paying fortunes to see him and hear him talk. Does it sound like someone would go to a conference with no deal in hand? Here I am, I'm the Treasury Secretary, and yeah, I have no deal, and there won't be a deal, and here's my speech for today. No, it doesn't sound right. Now, he is a strange person, but does it sound more normal that a person who's going to the major press conference that actually Mike Pence headlined last year, less than 30 days before the presidential election in which Trump is trying to push his economic agenda, would it make sense that the person that is most responsible for the economic agenda, Steve Mnuchin, appearing on the #1 financial news network, well, except for this one, CNBC, doesn't it make sense that he would be talking about the economy and the stimulus package that he had reached overnight or that day? Now, Pelosi says she's going to be talking with him tomorrow. So clearly they're talking by telephone. She's not there as well at the conference. That probably didn't invite her. But really shockingly suggestive that perhaps he's going to get the deal done because he's going out on a major press event. And that is one of several major press appearances by Mnuchin in the next couple of days. Yeah. Well, I'm not getting my hopes up. Neither are you, but I'm just telling you. Now, before we digest that one, there's the other side. Oh, yeah. This is the bad part. A new report out tonight, and yeah, I'm going off these reports. These are major news publications, but sometimes they're not cited anywhere else or repeated somewhere else. They're like insiders as the source. But this report says that Mnuchin's purpose for tonight in his homework is he's preparing a counter offer to the 2.2 and had not yet offered a counter offer to the 2.2. So that is not good news. And the reason why that's not good news is it basically means that Pelosi's just been saying, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. And he's just sitting back and saying, okay, I'll have a counter proposal for you, but it'll be Wednesday morning. According to this report, he has not given a counter proposal to 2.2 trillion, that he's basically just listened to her talk. So we have some reports that say they've been negotiating. Now this report's saying he's just listening to her talk. A lot of twists and turns. Now, what we need to do as we start the evening is finally the executive orders. The executive orders still remain the focus of the channel, so certainly the problem solvers. If you did miss Afternoons LA, which I hope you did not, I broke it in shockingly great news development that the Blue Dogs issued a press release yesterday, and one of the Purple Power family members, not myself, but someone else, reached out to the Blue Dogs to ask them, are you supporting the problem solvers? And the head of their public relations department, which is just basically one person, responded back and said, here's the news article, here's the press release. And in the press release, it says, we're supporting the problem solvers bill. And they issued that press release the same day that the Temple Dude debuted her bloated bill. Wow, a lot of twists and turns. It's important for me to tell you what's in the bloated bill, even though we are trying to ignore it, because there's now three paths of where this might land. You know, every day seems to change. There was a week in which we thought legislatively this is never going to happen. Tonight it's possibly back on the front burner. There's the problem solvers bill, which is appearing to seem less likely. There's second, the executive orders, which seems very likely. And then there is Mnuchin and Meadows and Pelosi, which seems, or it feels very uncertain. I don't know where even to put it. And what you need to understand is the deadlines. Let me give you the deadlines and let me give you the bill amounts. So the deadlines are the following. You have October 1st, or some cases it said October 2nd as the deadline. Yeah, tomorrow's the 30th, so it's literally like down to the last minute. The original projection would be that the House would vote on it the first day, the Senate would vote on it the next day, and the President would sign it the third day. There's a way to get it done in 2 days. I don't see a way to get it done in 1 day. But this is why I'm basically saying this is a 24-hour window legislatively. If the Blue Dogs, the Purple if the Blue Dogs, the Problem Solvers, and the New Democrat Coalition don't push the Problem Solvers bill to be introduced and push it to a vote within the next 24 hours, that attempt will be dead, I think, by all accounts, for purposes of October 2nd all the way up to the election. That seems to be the situation. Same thing with Pelosi and Mnuchin. If they don't get their thing agreed to by the end of tomorrow, then could it be hatched at a later date? Well, let me explain it this way. It's going back to the old Hey Fox News recordings of August. Remember when I told you that Mnuchin and Meadows and Pelosi made a deal that if Pelosi and Mnuchin reach a deal on the second stimulus check at any time, that they would call the House and send it back into session, vote on it, approve it, and the president would sign it. That still is a possibility. So if all these people, fly the coop, I had to use that, October 1st, and then, fly their wonderful jets home, eating their $12 ice cream, and then suddenly Nancy's on the phone from her palatial state in San Francisco and having her $12 ice cream, answers the phone, it's Steve, and says, oh, we have a deal, it's Nancy. Oh, we do. She can order her flock of sheep back to Washington from their own palatial states and have them sign a bill while they're sipping their fine wine, and then do it right then, sort of like what she did with the postal services, but doesn't want to do it with you. So there is that possibility that you could have a stimulus package deal done in October 20th or October 15th. And you're going to say to me, what about the airlines? Well, it's going to be much of Congress ignoring the airlines like they ignore everyone else. The airlines do have a deadline, and these congressional leaders simply just want to ignore people, and have done a very good job at ignoring people to this day. Finally, executive orders can be done at any time. Absolutely can be done at any time. And what I need you to understand for executive orders for the timeline is that the president could announce it, let's say October 10th, and you would possibly have the check as early as October 20th. So that's how fast these things can turn around. There's a final twist, which I haven't really gone over too much today, and I didn't lead with, which is going into tonight's debate. There's a lot of polling indicators that say the president is in real trouble with the polls. Really, really, really bad. And will he sort of roll over and do an economic and stimulus relief package now? That's your bet. It is all illogical, and a lot of things he does are illogical. You would not think, you've said in the comments as well, if you want to do a stimulus package and have people get the money, you do it weeks ahead of time so they have the money before they vote. At the way he's doing it now, they're going to get the money after they vote for potentially someone else. So I don't understand the concept of waiting so late to do this if you're going to do it. And the fact that the polls may be against you, why don't you do this when the polls are in favor of you so you pull higher in the polls? Let me answer some of your incredible questions from last night, but I first want to go over some details about the bill from last night. No hazard pay, but there's an additional provision in there that creates EIDL grants again. So if you are an Uber or Lyft driver or a trucker, you could get grant money once again. I don't mean another time around, but you could get it if you did not get it the first time or for a separate business. So that's incredibly great news. There's another essential workers grant in there that's funded by CDC. It's a lot of money. So that is a version of hazard pay. It's just not as comprehensive as the hazard pay that we had all been talking about. Additionally, the stimulus checks, it is not a family of 5. It is a family, I think it's a family, well, it's not a family of 6. Anyway, everything about the whole package is totally different. The dependents is $500. It's not taken out for child support. It's not taken out for collections. It's not taken out for taxes. But it's a $1,200 individual check. The dependents are at $500. And it looked like the family of household was smaller. There's PPP in there. It's a hot mess express. And I don't feel like going through the details because it doesn't look like those details will even last 24 hours. So, it's $600 retroactively presumed for FPUC. Let me get to some of your incredible questions from last night. Janelle, my stress level is just skyrocketed. My family needs a miracle, and that miracle is vanishing. Alcazar, why does the IRS need money? Gary, that's well said. The IRS got a salary raise in this bill. Gary Smith, at this point, if they've done anything, they should be voted out. Sherry Cook, Nancy Pelosi's new bill should be called the delusional bill. Lorraine, this is them telling us that they aren't giving us anything. Trump is going to issue executive order. I love that. Rose Dunn, Trump could have done checks, but he had Nancy playing this game, who's the baddest. Matthew Sullivan, my kids are hungry. We need rent. That will not be back if they lose their set. Michael Albauer, word is that this bill has Steve Mnuchin's stamp of approval. That's not the word of approval. Word on the street. Christopher Willis, this would be a perfect time for executive order. Rhonda Hallman, the president just needs to get a backbone and do the executive orders now or leave office. I love that. Jamie Costello, November's coming up to vote all of them out of office. I love that as well. Shannon Marucci, I said previously, my local crappy company in Ohio, the money was given to courthouses to raise money for miscellaneous. No money for food. It's disgraceful. Robert Ridout, it's easy to fool people. It's time to convince them that you've been fooled. Terry D, just plan a sanity. It's a dark hour. Carrie Bryant, they must believe they still win their elections even without the stimulus. They do. They're delusional. They really are. Everyone from the president to Pelosi to, AOC, all these people are very, very, I don't know if she's up for election. All these people are very, very delusional. They live in a bubble of, their false hopes. James Johnson, this isn't really an emergency stimulus bill. It's an addendum for the continuing budget resolution. Very well said. It's not a stimulus bill. To call it a stimulus bill is a joke. I mean, it's all salary raises. It's not stimulus. Stimulus is something that stimulates the economy, not gives people raises. Anna Mustafa, the whole system needs to be fixed. Maria, it's time to call the government officials are definitely down for un-American. Holly, this isn't a standalone stimulus bill. It's the entire yearly budget that has been done before to avoid a government shutdown. Government bill, 20 Yes and no. I mean, it's a great comment you're making. Bonnie Milligan, LATE is less relief than a person who has eaten out a pound of red beans. Kimberly Clark, run for president, LA. We need someone who's intelligent, has a heart. We love you and watch your videos daily. You're the only man in the country we can depend on. Much love to you and God bless you. I love that, Kimby Clark. I love that. I got a lot of those type of comments, and I really do appreciate it. Jean Scally, I just went on All Bats Facebook page and blasted her. She makes me sick. Thank you, LA, for all you do. Can't make it to the day without you. I really appreciate it. Cynthia, the government are disgusting. Oh my God. Anna Way. And you wonder why the average person is still waiting around for assistance, because we are not their priority. Very well said. Ricky Reed, if they leave, I'll get them out of office. Shalea, well, prepare to vote them out of office. LA, get the list of names ready again. I need help with that. If they do vote for this bill tomorrow, just to show they did something and it dies tomorrow, I need someone to help get that list of those people ready, because we are really going to smack them. Oh, we're not done with them yet. Peggy, I have to struggle before I take the cake and ice cream. Stacey Harris, I can't believe our Homeland Security got so little. Rodney Velez, everyone gets millions, but the people that pay the taxes got one small crazy check, $500. Is that cute? David Allen, so all these people getting all this money, and all we get is a lousy $1,200 check. Well, that's if you're not a dependent, then you can only get $500. If you have a question to today's video, drop them in the comments below, and go to the front channel, subscribe. I mean, boy, you can see how in a 24-hour period I have gone from fangs and fire coming out of my nostrils to confusion to happiness to sort of perplexities. I'm sure you feel about the same. And I want you to stay calm. I want you to stay motivated. I want you to stay focused and positive. Also, like this video, because I really do have my concern and hearts for you. Hearts. I don't have multiple hearts. I only have one heart with you as we really sort of push through this. We're not over. We're not done. We're not a steak. We are very well done. We're not very well done. And we're not cow meat either. So we're going to get through this. Coming up next is Purple Power. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and save LA for more.